Alright guys, now we're going to talk about another construct, which is honestly the most important and useful one that you'll probably use depending on where you kind of go with your career. As a sysadmin myself, this is the one that I use almost daily, if not every other day, and it's the for loop. So the main advantage of K shell over the traditional Unix shell is in its use as a programming language. K shell supports for loop. The syntax is as follows. So you start with for. Then you have your variable, which typically is going to be I. You know, I've never seen anyone use anything but the variable I for consistency. So for variable in, and then your list. Do echo variable. Done. Okay. And we'll see how that actually looks here in a second with this example. So we have our hash plane. We say for I, and just like I said, most people are always going to use I. For I and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 do echo welcome I times. So guys, what this is going to do, it's going to say for I, which I gets substituted here, and it's going to look at this first one. It's going to say welcome 1 times. It's going to go back through, welcome 2 times, go back through, welcome 3 times, go back through, welcome 4 times, go back through, welcome 5 times, and then it will finish. Okay, so let's see that in action. So we're going to make a script called for.sh. We're going to start with that hash plane /bin/bash. We're going to say for I in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 do echo welcome variable I times. Done. Simple enough, easy peasy. So we're going to make that executable. Okay. We're going to go ahead and run that. And there you go. Welcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay. In this case, we didn't need anything to be true or false. We just told it how many times we want it to run. Okay. Let's look at another example of that. So we're going to look at another for loop here, which says for I in, and we actually have a list here. Maybe we don't want to type out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to 10. Okay, so we can use brace expansion here. This is known as brace expansion. Okay, so it's going to run all the way 1 through 10. So let's do that again. This time, we're going to use our same script. We're just going to edit what's actually in it. Okay, so I'm going to delete some lines, or I'm going to alter what's in some of these lines here. Okay, so I'm going to delete everything after this. I'm going to do for I in. I'm going to use curly braces, 1, 2 periods, 10. There you go. So guys, brace expansion is pretty useful. It's used inside curly braces, and in this case, we're just saying, 1 through 10. Do echo welcome I time. Same thing, but this time what you're going to notice will happen. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's see what happens. Is it does it 10 times, okay? So it's just a little bit of a shortcut there. I don't have to type out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can use that brace expansion, and it'll list as many as I want, okay? So you might be curious or thinking, how is that helpful? Well, what for loops are actually typically used for, how I typically use them, is I'm going to do something like for I in, and these are just made up names. I'm going to say host 1, server 2, server 3, etc., etc. So I'm putting server names or host names there. And then I would put a semicolon. And I would say do, maybe pass WD. Where I would, how I'm typically going to do is I'm going to do like SSH, my username, which I'm just going to make up a username, Kevin, and then I would put the I variable here, I. Okay. And then I would put another command. I would say, maybe I want to copy copy a file here, so I could do like scp certain file, etc. I'm not going to type the whole thing out, but you kind of get the idea here is what I'm actually doing. And let me actually end it here. So SCP done. Okay. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm saying for I in a bunch of servers do, and I'm logging into each one of these servers, and then do this. So what it's doing is it's logging into this first server. That's the first part of the for loop here. Then it's, copying something to that server, and then it's done. And then it's going to the next one, doing the same thing on the second server, etc., etc. So that's how a for loop is actually helpful, is that I can say, hey, here's a list of servers. I want you to do these things on it, and then finish and exit out of them. So that's where the for loop really comes in handy. And as you can imagine, it's really nice. If I'm doing the same thing, I need to do it on 30 different servers. Well, it's really nice for me to be able to just copy that server list into this for loop, and then I can say, hey, do this thing, and then I just hit enter, and I wait for it to do it, and then I don't have to type it in 30 times, okay? So that's where the for loop can become very useful, guys.